Shabbat Shalom. All glorification, honor, and praise is due only unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, along with the bishops, Wazaquanium, who rule and teach the church well. Salutations to the house of David by Shadoadah, the elect. Starting with the 144,000 in service of the prophets, the first fruits of salvation, to include the remainder of the remnant, consisting of men, women, and children, believers. Those among Israel who believe the testimony of the prophets and who have the faith of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. They too are going to be delivered out of this coming destruction. That's what's coming to America. Total annihilation. Going to be compliments of the intercontinental ballistic missiles and the chariots of the Lord. The ships. Shabbat Shalom. Today is Friday, July the 25th, 2025, the hopeful year of our deliverance and of Esau's destruction and judgment. And this is off finextra.com. Put up today, Australians embrace digital banking as digital wallet use surges. So these Aussies are fully on board with the digital system, man. All right. Fully on board. You know, a lot of Europe is fully on board. A lot of Moab. Well, I say so-called Europe. All right, because there's European nations over there. All right, Edom, the so-called white man, is ruling those nations right now. All right, a lot of Edom is on board with it. All right, a lot of Moabites, the so-called Chinese, they on board with this. A lot of Ammonites, the so-called Japanese, they on board with this. But the Australians are a special kind of stupid, man. They all about the digital system, man. They gonna readily receive this, man. This haragma. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. All right, that's everybody. To receive a mark, right? Haragma, in their right hand or in their foreheads. Salakia. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the haragma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Right? So we'll get into this a little bit. Just a quick MOTB update. The MOTB is the micro CHIP, period. All right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the framework and the infrastructure is already in place for this to happen. Okay, these elites, these international banking families, all right, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Gettys, the Warburgs, the Oppenheimers, etc. They're just waiting for the right moment, okay, to bring this all to fruition. Really, it's the Most High, who's running the show. The scriptures talks about the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, ruling in the kingdom of men. So really, the Most High is fixing to make Esau, all right, move, man. All right. It says Australian consumers are adopting digital banking services in increasing numbers, with 99.3% of transactions taking place over digital channels, including $160 billion in payments made via mobile wallets. Got that? That's what they're getting ready to roll out, man. The increased use of digital wallets is the standout statistic from the latest report published by the Australian Bankers Association on consumer trends. According to the ABA, more than 4 billion payments were made via mobile wallets in the last year, which is 11 times more than the 353 million ATM cash withdrawals, which were valued at 106 billion. Continue on. It says digital banking interactions have increased by 70% since 2019, while the value of mobile payments has increased 23-fold in the same time period, including a 28% increase in the last year alone. Meanwhile, ATM cash withdrawals and branch banking have continued to decrease, with mobile wallet transactions overtaking ATM withdrawals in 2023. This is coming to pass, man. All right? Like it says in Ezekiel's, man. Let's get that. All right, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33 and verse 33. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them. That's right, man. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and you Israelite foreigners and speckled birds. All right, you're going to know that a prophet was in your midst, man. All right, when Esau Edom brings the hammer down, you know, and he's getting ready to do it, man. He's fixing to fucking bring a sledgehammer down on your ass. All right, and a lot of you people, you know, aren't even going to have to be, aren't going to have to be convinced in the least, man. You're going to just willy-nilly line up. A lot of y'all going to be begging for it, man. You hard-headed so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians here in America, aka Babylon the Great, you're gonna fucking line up for it. All right, because when you can't access your funds, when you can't, when you don't have access, all right, just say it that way. When you don't have access to your funds anymore, okay, and cash is no longer an option, all right, you're gonna do exactly what your fucking slave master tells you to do, man. You're going to do exactly what Esau tells you to do. You're going to go line up for it. You are going to go line up for it because you would rather trust in the shadow of Egypt, all right, than trust in Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, and that's going to lead to your confusion. That's going to lead to your demise. All right, let's get that in the book of Isaiah. All right, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 31 and verse 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. Right. And obviously America, okay, if you have understanding, if the Lord has given you, all right, this gift of faith to be able to receive these words, you understand that Egypt is America. All right. America is modern day Egypt. Okay. It talks about that in Revelation, the 11th chapter and the 8th verse, how this place is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Clearly you see it's Sodom, all right? All these fucking sodomites everywhere, all right? Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, right? You're not looking to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, all right, to deliver you out of the time of Jacob's trouble, which we in right now, all right? You're trusting in the federal government. You're trusting in the so-called white man. You're trusting in your oppressor, man. All right? You putting your faith and trust in a man. Jeremiah talks about that in Jeremiah the 17th chapter. It talks about, all right, the man who puts his trust in man, all right, how that man is cursed. You're supposed to be trusting in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, not the fucking Federal Reserve. And see, 2/3 of our people, man, you're gonna have to learn the hard way. You are going to have to learn the hard way. It says, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, right? Neither seek the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. The scriptures warns you about seeking the Lord while he may be found, all right? And that's Isaiah the 55th chapter. I'm not going to go get that, but Isaiah the 55th chapter says, seek ye the Lord while he may be found, all right? Why? Because there's coming up a point in time where you're not going to be able to find the Lord. In other words, you're not going to have the prophets on the highways and byways. You're not going to have the apostles of great millstone guiding you. You're not going to have the bishops and elders guiding you. You're not going to have the Achiam coming in the right spirit guiding you. All right? Because why? Because there's about to be a famine of hearing this word. All right? The Lord's about done. You can't see the Lord is about done with this place, this whole system. This whole beast system, you can't see that the Most High is about done with Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, and these heathen fucking nations. You can't see that? Well, then get ready to be destroyed. I don't want to write this out. You was edified with that. I want to say Shabbat Shalom.